Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're finally here. The album conversation, also including EPs on this one. 5 tracks, 15 minutes. You are hearing the conversation. And I'm also going to be looking at originals and the Afrobeat and African landscape in general. A few albums that barely made it into this list but deserve a shout out. Mono Banton's Wonder Shall Never End. King Perry's Continental Playlist. Stonebwoy's Fifth Dimension. And DJ Spinall with Top Boy. Alright, now let's get into my top 50 albums. These are albums that gave me a full-on experience. Albums that definitely showed some form of evolution or at least some growth in some aspects. But overall, great albums that speaks to the material and not to the impacts per se. Alright, number 50. Speaking of not speaking to the impact, this is definitely one of the most impactful albums. It dropped late in the year, obviously in November. I can expect it having some more shelf life into the new year, of course. But Charlie Poppy's debut effort, Presidola Pluto, an album that clearly documents the soundscape this year. Charlie Poppy, one of the breakout years, tried to commemorate his run with this album. Definitely has some weak links, some weak dots, some weak moments. His weaknesses out of his soundscape were definitely glaring and showing on this project. But the highlights on this album are so strong, we have to throw this in here. At number 49, very late last year, we have Great and Lost from Wizkid. Definitely one that showed him beyond his regular Amapiano efforts. Shout out to Baby Beats, a producer that definitely pushed him. At number 48, I have Mr. Easy with The Evil Genius, which is technically his debut album. Yes, it is his debut album technically. But yeah, man, Mr. Easy dropped an album that made some efforts to be nostalgic. But I think the brilliance of the album shows forward in the opener and essentially towards the end. A lot of the meat and the body of the album seems to be what's lacking for it. But definitely a strong effort that builds beyond just the music and has a lot of art pieces that complement it as well. Easily the best rollout this year. At number 47, all you heathens, step aside. We have Nathaniel Bassey in the building with Hallelujah Live. Easily the best live album that we have this year. It's a gospel moment. The crowds, the instrumentation, everything was so well done for a live experience. At number 46, I have Black Bones with Emeka Must Shine. Not the strongest follow-up since Young Preacher, I'll give him that. But definitely strong highlights and strong moments. He tried a lot to evolve, but came very short in terms of content, in terms of weight, in terms of like keeping the records enjoyable and engaging. But the highlights like Roadrunners, like Yemi Go, really speak volumes to his talent and his crafting in terms of curating and bringing on support for his album. Definitely one of the strong records this year. Number 45, I have Cheers to Life by my boy Majid with 3 E's. This is a follow-up to his Bittersweet project that came in 2022. Not necessarily the strongest follow-up since that one. I prefer that one. But this still has a lot of the pop elements that you would love to see in any Afropop or any fresh new artist. Again, I see him in a lot of the Kcee Daniel parallels, and he still scratches that itch that you would contain to your mommy and daddy, but in a lot of ways, he still sounds more progressive than that. At number 44, I have the placeholder for another album that we're going to mention, Seyi Vibes to like Kingdom Come. Action-packed record that definitely documents Seyi Vibes' sonic evolution. Not necessarily striking the perfect balance on this one, but I definitely enjoyed so many moments here, like Deja Vu. At number 43, we're going to the East, Odumodublvck, okay, with Legacy. Definitely want to shout out for my high life lovers. You definitely enjoy this one. At number 42, I have a fresh new artist called Koblaze with his debut project, Orbit. Definitely one of the nice R&B blends with Afrobeats, and I definitely enjoyed some of his pop attempts too in some moments, and this was good. This was a good record, good introduction to this artist. Looking forward to more releases from him. At number 41, I have Mr. Ooh La La by Manny Wells. Speaking of Afro R&B, but a lot more concentrated on this one, Mr. Ooh La La by Manny Wells. Afro R&B is definitely choking my list this year. This is another artist, King Maddie. I am so excited to see where her career goes from this, but her debut EP, a self-titled EP, was one to note in this year's list. Number 39, one of my favorite street artists to come out this year from the Yoruba side of things, of course, Bad Boy OML. This project definitely shows him as a great introduction. Okay, great introduction to this artist. I feel that he has some edge and some ways to make strong and potent catchy hooks at the same time, still bringing the Fuji elements here. I think this was a good record, man. Runtown dropped an album very late last year, but we are here with it. Signs. I definitely enjoyed this record. It's one that I love to go back to. There are some songs that unfortunately lack some form of, there's still mistakes being done on this, hence why it's kind of low on my list, but I definitely saw a lot of ingenuity and evolution from Runtown's effort. It's just sad that he kept quiet about this album after releasing it. At number 37, one of my favorite debut efforts this year, Davido's brand new artist, Moravi. Strong action-packed 5-track EP here. Showed a lot of range that I'm excited to tap into from this artist. At number 36, ladies and gentlemen, I have a collaborative project called Collide by Code AF and Baggage, the producer. This was a very dense project that showed a lot of range between R&B, hip-hop, and Afro-pop. A strong introduction to both the artist and the producer. At number 35, we have Fuji Heritage Barry J with Barry Back 2. This project definitely maintains Barry J's reputation as one of the most passionate Fuji vocalists that we have in the scene. At number 34, we have a genre blender in Tim Lyrie with Master. Definitely one of the strongest moments in the Alter space. At number 33, the Chief A&R Basketball did it again with another project called Uburu. At number 32, an introductory EP from a brilliant artist called Emma Oniga, Dust Off. I am so excited about this guy. Very unique tone and style of delivery. I am excited to hear what is next for him. At number 31, I have Feels Good EP by Feels, commemorating some of the biggest smash records that he has put out as a solo artist ever since. And this was a definitely strong moment that showed a lot of singing chops and samples, and just overall the range of his brilliance musically was definitely shown on this project. At number 30, I have Maven's Finest Crayon with his debut album Trends to Triumph. Definitely not a bad effort for a debut album, full-length LP. Strong Afropop efforts on this record. Definitely a good moment for him. And at 25, I have Rap's Finest, Zlatan, coming with a very versatile and jaw-dropping EP called Omo Ologo. Amazing project here, from everything to organic music to straight raw hip-hop. The musicality went up on this project, and I absolutely love what Zlatan is heading right now. At number 28, I have another rap project, Mojo AF linked up with the producer Ronehi to put this one together, and it's called I Know You Miss Me, and it's it's crazy, it's wild, it's fun, it's hip-hop, it's Nigerian hip-hop to this very raw, it's fun. Loved all the production efforts and experiments here. Definitely a strong moment from Mojo. At number 27, Mr. Easy assembled a definitely brilliant Amapiano ensemble with the Chop Life sound system crew that he set up. This was good effort for Amapiano. This was a brilliant effort for Amapiano. Definitely should have given a lot more attention, because the wealth of Amapiano from a Nigerian standpoint is insane on this one. It has Amifaku, has very strong elements that really carry on that genre, and I think Mr. Easy did a brilliant job with this album. And at number 26, I have Pluto Presido Shali Poppy with Planets Pluto. This definitely is a show of Edo excellence in a street context, and definitely helped in documenting the soundscape of this year entirely. Straight back-to-back hits with Oba Pluto, with Ex-Convict, Elon Musk, Ahead. Straight strong record, man. One of the strongest EPs this year. At 25, I have a project that dropped very late last year. Maven commemorated their 10th-year anniversary with a project that showed a lot of their talents, and my goodness, this is such a wealth of talents that is just too much and effortless. And even though, yes, they definitely have a soundscape that is Maven type, but definitely wasn't a bad experience. It still showed a lot of brilliance in Magic's R&B efforts, Crayon's ability to ride hooks and really be potent with them. We saw Johnny Drew production and mixing, and his clear vocals shining through on many moments here. Don Jazzy with the random ad-libs here and there to elevate and uplift a lot of these songs. This was definitely a very fun EP, or fun album rather, that dropped very late in his last year, but didn't get as much attention as it really should have. And at number 24, I have one of the dope R&B and hip-hop blends this year. A strong effort from the Alter space, Sute Iwa, with a fantastic record called Ultralight. And at number 23, we're taking it to SA, man. We have an introductory project from a brilliant vocalist. Probably one of the best voices in Africa, to be honest. Next to a Sam Smith. Takes a lot of influence from Sam Smith, but Seasons as a project was a great introduction to a very strong voice, and I love this project, man. At number 22, Sincerely Benson by Benson, a debut effort from one of the artists of our generation that's really documented a lot. Definitely poured a lot of his style into this album. Showed some experimental efforts, but still was able to put together a sound album that was a good effort in its first swing at an LP. 21, I have one of the finest R&B moments really this year, Afro R&B in a lot of spaces, but definitely rich and raw R&B moments were here. I have none other than Oladapo with In Case I Never Love Again. What a project. Definitely tap in if you haven't. We're moving up to number 20, ladies and gentlemen, and we have Ruga with Rule the World. Action-packed Afro dancehall moments from Ruga. This project wasn't as Nigerian facing as you would have loved it to be, but if you're a fan of dancehall and a lot of African lingua influences and projection from his amazing pen game and his ability to just show a lot of wit and charisma on his very raunchy type of perspectives and stories that he tells. This was definitely a fun and action-packed moment from Ruga. At number 19, we're falling back into the R&B spaces. TIWA came with Summer Breeze that showed a lot of his R&B brilliance. Definitely one of the greatest voices that we have from R&B Nigeria. And at number 18, I have YKB with Useful Music. You know what? Just buy your YKB stocks, man. Just buy your YKB stocks. That's all I can say. Spax produced, very potent Afro R&B attempt here. Amazing project. All right, at number 17, I have the late Mohbad with Blessed EP. This is one of those EPs that is bittersweet, of course, upon arrival, but clear depiction of his talent level. We definitely lost a gem with Mohbad on this EP. Rest in peace to late Mohbad, man. And coming at number 16 for me, I have Manny Wells yet again, but this time around we Don't Tell Anyone. This very much still builds on his amazing reputation of blending R&B with a lot of his juju delivery as well, and such a unique artist, one of one, man, with Manny Wells, especially on this EP, Don't Tell Anyone, which I am definitely going against those rules right now by telling you guys about it. At number 15, man, Afro R&B is the theme of this entire year for me. I'm sorry, but these were just the projects that were just resonating with me. We have Lil J, okay, Lil J with amazing gangster romantic project. I have a full-length review on this one with Lil J, Gangster Romantic. It's a very, I mean, it shows Lil J's talent. It's strong, it's experimental with some Amapiano deep cuts. There's some attempts as well to make some pop moments, but to be honest, I think it thrives on his R&B moments on this project, and he's a talent, bro. He's a heck of a talent. And at number 14, striking the perfect balance between his Chance Naham structure of putting down records versus everything before that with his Fuji lean and his streets Afro Adura kind of angles. This was a perfect balance between those two antics, made for a fun and exciting and very dynamic, and you know what I mean, there's deep and soulful moments here. There's also fun and energetic ones, so it's a very great like position for Shay Vibes to be, and definitely his best work since $1 Billion Baby, in my opinion. At number 13, I have Pan-African Rockstar, one of the most audacious, most risky and edgy performances from artists this year. Lady Donley definitely stands out with many moments, especially on Kcee on this record. At number 12, I have the OG Olamide with Unruly. On this particular project, we see Olamide definitely trying out some new and refreshing sounds. A lot of his Asake influence, or at least the Asake phase that he has really helped in propelling and presenting to us, is brought on here with the Majestic's productions as well. But definitely still Olamide working in high forms and high powers as ever. At number 11, ladies and gentlemen, we have Joe Boy with the sophomore album, Body and Soul. Joe Boy definitely makes a strong attempt here at reigniting the fire that we definitely saw in his early projects and a lot of the ones that he did. And to be honest, this is a better album than his debut, in my honest opinion. Every record here shows some level of growth, some level of tact in his songwriting and his structure and his ability to really show some edge and to be a lot more assertive with his delivery. I definitely saw a lot more from Joe Boy with this album, and absolutely worthwhile throwing in here at number 11. And now we've gotten to the top 10. We have a legend, BURNA BOY with I Told Them. In the scale of BURNA BOY projects, obviously this is not necessarily the most or the strongest punch that he has had. It definitely had some narrative around it that definitely hurt this album and how it was being well received. There's definitely some duds here. Not going to lie about that. But at the end of the day, the talents from BURNA BOY's camp, from BURNA BOY's effort, the freestyle, the essence, the ingenuity behind a lot of the records that he goes and his approach on many of these songs still showed on I Told Them, taking a lot of hip hop lean, definitely taking a lot of homage for hip hop, and you saw that evidently on some of the choices of samples here. And it was definitely a fun one from BURNA BOY. Not the greatest BURNA BOY one, but definitely worthwhile throwing in that top 10 this year. And speaking of great performers, up next at number 9, I have Tequila Ever After by Adekunle Gold. High powers. Adekunle Gold definitely following up from his and on somewhat slept on projects from last year, but this one this year was a great follow up that just had action-packed moments from Adekunle Gold. Definitely loved seeing this album performed live as well, and it's a heck of a project and one of my favorites from Adekunle Gold. Tequila Ever After at number 9 this year. Number 8 for me, I gotta give it to Tekno. And what a sophomore run from Tekno. Definitely hearing that he got to tap into other songwriters and producers on this project. It definitely showed. His essence was still definitely shown, even though he was collaborating with other songwriters. He is one of the best and honestly gonna go down as a legend for the genre, and many of these songs just depict the essence and the quintessential like love that you have for Afrobeats in its rawest form, bringing those high life, those soukous runs, those coupé de Calais type of energy as well, all spread across this record. And we saw some progressive moments like Can Chase on the outro as well. Definitely one of his brilliant moments ever, and it's crazy to see Tekno in an album context, and this was amazing to see that. At number 7, man, when it comes to EPs this year, this was a perfection of an EP. I definitely I am excited about what Bloody Civilian has to offer to the scene. She's coming in with a lot of edge that shows her as a rebellious character, but as an artist, as a producer, she has so much to offer. She has shown the range of her sound on this EP, and I'm expecting a lot more exciting sounds from her. I'm extremely excited about where Bloody Civilian is heading, and this project definitely was a heck of an introduction to the scene. At number 6, the best, in my honest opinion, moment for R&B in Nigerian music context, Nonso Amadi, okay? Brought his A game on his debut album. The production quality on this is unheard of. This is showing so much growth from the Nonso that we knew since Tonight and the early like juice production moments that we've had. He has come in with a better approach as crafting music. His collaborations have been a lot more potent and shows a lot more edge on songs like on Lock Up with Wizkid, definitely tapping into a lot more lamba and much more rooted soundscape for him than what we had been used to. And it honestly works, and there's some experiments here that absolutely work as well, like Paper that's produced by London. Absolutely heck of an experience of a project, and definitely worthwhile having at my number 6 position this year. All right. At number 5, ladies and gentlemen, I have the future, Rema with perfection of an EP. Ravage, okay? 5 tracks. Intense, insane, dropped on Halloween. Very dark aesthetic for Afrobeats that we have never seen before, and His delivery, his sheer talent is insane. His confidence is scary on this project. I don't even understand where he is going up next after this, but I am so excited about what he was able to put together with DND, with Smooth Criminal, showing a lot of homage in terms of his delivery style, from Burna to One Cole to techno. Like, it was insane, the range that he was able to put together, and still cohesively gave a strong image for this particular album or EP. Just feels like an album. It just feels so worthy to be called an album, to be honest. And honestly, I'm excited for what Rema has in store for us next year. And at number 4, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of risk takers when it comes to full-length projects, for at least for the Afrobeat scene, it doesn't get better than Amapiano, really. And this second project really followed up from a great debut. To be honest, some of the singles scared me leading into this, but showing how dynamic and edgy and adventurous this album felt, it definitely was worthwhile, and it's honestly one of the best projects that came out this year. And at number 3, ladies and gentlemen, right now we're entering classic territory, okay? Odumodublvck with Eziokwu saving Nigerian hip-hop with this particular moment, man. From drill to sing-alongable melodic rap chops to afro pop lean and high life lean and attempt here, the drill influences as well coming out. Yeah, man, Nigerian hip-hop is in strong hands, because Eziokwu definitely showed so much of his brand, so much of his aura as an artist, and making monumental runs beyond this album into his feature runs as well. But this project is gonna definitely document an exciting moment for Odumodu and the brand of Nigerian rap and how Nigerian rap can be viewed. This definitely is a standout moment for the entire scene, and I'm excited for where he's going to push this and how far he can go with this particular run that he has right now. But Eziokwu documents this run perfectly, in my opinion. And for me, at number 2, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta give it to Davido OVO, man, with Timeless at number 2. First listen was rough on this album, but enjoying this in a different platform. With this album, definitely Davido took some opportunity to really like define or at least reinvent how he approaches albums. We've had this long age-old narrative about Davido albums just feeling very playlisty, and you're going in there just selecting moments that you enjoy. Timeless feels a lot more put together in terms of a moment. His campaign for this album was unprecedented in terms of just the sheer volume of tact he went into. A lot of records on this song, but mostly the hit songs like Unavailable and Feel That has really carried the album, which in a lot of ways is guaranteed for a Davido album. You're gonna get your hit out of it that will sustain the album. But to be honest, Timeless definitely feels more like a unit, and anytime I hear a couple records from the album, I want to hear the entire experience and go through it, because a lot of these records did come with a lot more attention to detail when it came to his production. His songwriting was a lot more, it was tamer, it was a lot more, not as impulsive as Davido has usually been on many of his deliveries, but it made it a lot more enjoyable. And yes, we still have some nostalgic moments, but in a lot of ways, Davido depicts whatever the soundscape is, and he made very strong efforts by bringing that soundscape of today, which a lot of it is rooted in Amapiano, and we saw that in this album with Timeless, and we still saw some form edgy Davido as well, and we still saw some, not the most vulnerable, but definitely still made some hint at vulnerability on the intro over them. And I definitely see this album as one that would hold a lot of weight in his discography. Timeless would definitely age beautifully for him, and I'm looking forward to what this album will become for Davido. It is a brilliant album, and definitely a big shout for this album, for albums this year in Nigeria. And at number 1, ladies and gentlemen, this album, man, it was insane. The first one of these albums that definitely, again, like these first 2 albums, not necessarily being completely sold for me at the first listen, but going back to them subsequently has been even better and better upon the experience. Yes, I still hold a lot of stance when it comes to the, I guess, redundance that comes with a lot of Asake and Majestic's formats in terms of what they've done, and how this album was arranged definitely made it rough on the first couple spins. But going back into each record and being able to understand that the brilliance of each song is clear. It's very, very potent when it comes to his abrasive and his unconventional rap hooks that we've seen in a lot of pop songs, that has really helped him define the space for the last 2 years now. And he did it again with this particular album. And with honestly my favorite records from him, Lonely at the Top being the anchor for this album, or at least be the drawback for it. It stood out for sure from the rest of the records, but you cannot deny the run of 230 to Basquiat to I Believe to What's Up My G to like Remember. So many potent and hard punches on this album that makes it stand out as yet again my number one album for the year, because Asake has done it 2 years in a row now. It's interesting to see if he's coming out with an album in 2024. But yeah, man, that was my list, ladies and gentlemen. My top 50 albums this year in 2023. Let me know what you would change about this list, if you would move anything around, or what were your top 5 albums or projects this year. I'm curious. I've been your boy Emmanuel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.